All right, guys, welcome back. So a huge video here today discussing, going in depth of the 2025 World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series schedule. Hopefully you are sitting down because this is probably going to be a long video. 3 boards to be exact, 3 full boards. This is probably the biggest video we've ever done as far as the actual content in the video. But the World of Outlaws this morning releasing their 2025 schedule, and it is 90 races, 9-0, across 21 states, and has 41 tracks, and they are going to Canada. So a huge schedule. What we have here is I only have magnets for 1 through 30, and then also the blue writing are tracks that were on the schedule last year. Red tracks are either brand new to the series or were not on the schedule last year. So we'll just jump right into it here. I mean, there's not much else I could say. This is going to be a long video, so if you're not prepared for that, save it for later tonight when you put the kids to bed, and you can watch it then. But here we go. As per usual, the series will start off at Volusia Speedway Park on February 5th. For the Dirt Car Nationals, they will race there for 4 nights in a row, and then they'll take quite a few weeks off, about 3 weeks off, and come back on March 2nd and March 3rd. For the bike week races there at Volusia as well. So the first 6 races of the year, as they have been for the last 2 years or so, are going to be down there at Volusia. Then on March 7th, they are going to the Talladega Short Track once again. The World of Outlaws late models went there last year. When I was on the Outlaw Tour, we went there, I think it was 2 years ago. Good little track there at Talladega. And then on March 8th, I've also been here to Magnolia Motor Speedway. Had a great race there a few years back. That is in Mississippi. So 2 regions there that don't see a lot of 410 wing action. That's good for them. Talladega Short Track and Magnolia. And then you'll see a little bit of a gap here and down here. There was actually a bootleg schedule kind of being circulated around in text message groups, and I got a hold of it. And I made this board last night, and I saw that there was some TBDs here and there, and so that's why I left them blank. So they didn't actually fill in those areas, so I just left it like that. March 14th and 15th, a doubleheader at Kennedale Speedway Park in Texas. And then, though, next week, it's another doubleheader in Texas at Cotton Bowl Speedway. Both of those tracks on the schedule last year. March 28th, they are at Lawton Speedway in Oklahoma. That was on the schedule last year, but it got canceled due to there was a fire, I believe it was, at Lawton Speedway. So March 28th, they're back there. And the next night, they're at the 81 Speedway in Park City, Kansas. So right there, I'm going to try and mention this as I can as it happens as well. 81 is one of the very few tracks that will be hosting both the Outlaws and High Limit next year, and I'll try and point that out as we continue on here. April 4th and 5th, Arrowhead Raceway in Oklahoma, fantastic facility. They'll be there for 2 nights, and then 2 nights as well at I-55 Raceway in Missouri. April 18th and 19th, it's the first 2 races of the season at Knoxville Raceway in Iowa. April 25th and 26th, this might be the best weekend on the entire schedule. Jacksonville Speedway in Illinois, and then the very next night, my favorite track in the country, Tri-State Speedway in Hopstadt, Indiana. May 2nd and 3rd, it is the traditional Let's Race 2 weekend at Eldora Speedway in Ohio. And then they make a 4-day trek over to Pennsylvania, run at the Lincoln Speedway in PA, and then 2 nights at the Williams Grove Speedway. Those are the first of 17 nights at Williams Grove this year. Obviously, I am kidding, but they run there a lot. May 14th and 15th, this is big news right here, heading back to Ohsweken Speedway in Ontario, Canada. So I've heard so many good things about Ohsweken. I've never been there before, but the fans up there are crazy, I've heard. That track is fantastic. They'll be there for 2 straight nights at Ohsweken, and then they're going to stay in Canada. May 18th, the Cornwall Motor Speedway. I thought it was a fake place when I read it on the schedule. I've never even heard of it. So 3 nights in the, I was about to say the state of Canada, in the country of Canada, in the province of, what is it, Ontario. So that is very cool for the Canadian fans to be able to see the World of Outlaws in 410 wing sprint car racing. So I'm sure a lot of people are looking forward to that. Now I'm going to switch boards and go to the second portion of the schedule for the 2025 World of Outlaws season. All right, so the second portion of the schedule now on the board here. May 23rd, they're at Attica Raceway Park in Ohio. The first of what is a pretty solid slate right there. The 24th, the very next night, they're at Sharon Speedway in Ohio. And then 2 nights later, they go to the Atomic Speedway in Ohio. So 3 really good racetracks right there. That's going to be a fun swing for everybody watching at home on Dirt Vision. May 30th and 31st, they make their normal trip up to North Dakota, the River City Speedway and the Red River Valley Speedway. One, the Red River Valley in Fargo and River Cities in Grand Forks. June 4th, they are at Jackson Motorplex in Minnesota. And then a wild 3 nights at in Wisconsin. The first night, June 6th, at the Plymouth Dirt Track. I've heard a lot of good things about that place. And the IRA had a race there this year that was absolutely bonkers, so that's going to be a good one. Beaver Dam Raceway in Wisconsin on June 7th and June 8th. Up to Sun Prairie for the Angel Park Speedway in Wisconsin. So 3 really good tracks there. And they are in Wisconsin a lot next year. I don't remember them being in Wisconsin that much, in 2024. But 2025, the Outlaws spent a lot of time in the state of Wisconsin. June 13th and 14th, 2 nights once again at the Knoxville Raceway in Iowa. And then it is the Huset's High Bank Nationals from June 18th to 21st. It is 4 straight nights there at Huset's Speedway in South Dakota. Then June 27th to 28th, they are back in the state of Wisconsin at the Cedar Lake Speedway, one of the best tracks in the country. It just races good every time you're there, and they've got a really solid fan base. So I'm losing track of how many times they've already been to Wisconsin. July 10th, another new track to the schedule, Deer Creek Speedway in Minnesota. If I'm not mistaken, that has been on the Outlaw late model schedule for the last couple of years. I've heard good things about it. And if I'm not mistaken, is that the last place that Craig Kinzer won an Outlaw race? I don't know. I'm going off on a tangent there, but I think that was the last place that Craig Kinzer did win a World of Outlaws race. July 11th and 12th, they're back in Wisconsin again. So they go from Wisconsin. Then, 2 weeks later, they take the weekend of July 4th off. And then they're in Minnesota, back to Wisconsin at Wilmot Raceway, another one of my favorite racetracks over there. July 11th and 12th, 2 nights. July 15th, Attica Raceway Park in Ohio. And then the Kings Royal Weekend, July 18th and 19th at Eldora Speedway in Ohio. July 23rd, they're at the Baps Motor Speedway in Pennsylvania. And then their 17th and 18th trips to Williams Grove Speedway on July 25th and 26th. That is for the Summer Nationals. July 27th. So 3 nights in a row, they go from Williams Grove all the way to Weedsport, New York. So that's quite the trek there. But Weedsport, another one of my favorite racetracks. Love going to Weedsport. They make it on the schedule July 27th. I believe that'll be a Sunday night race. August 1st and 2nd, they are at I-55 Raceway in Peevely, Missouri. That is the Ironman weekend, and that leads right into the Knoxville Nationals, August 6th, 7th, and then I wasn't able to fit it all on the board. August 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th will be the Knoxville Nationals at the Knoxville Raceway in Iowa. And just like that, we are ready to switch boards for the final time, I think, in this video. I might make it 4, but we're definitely going to get to the third part of the schedule right now. All right, guys, third and final portion of this schedule video for the Outlaws. I mentioned in the last one, Knoxville Raceway, the Knoxville Nationals, the final 2 nights, August 8th and 9th. And then on August 15th, they are going back to the Ogilvie Raceway. That is a really nice facility and an up-and-coming racetrack, and I'm glad to see it make it back on the schedule. And then August 16th, this is peculiar, is how you say that? Jackson Motorplex for 1 night, August 16th. I do not see the Jackson Nationals on the schedule. On the previous board, they were there for 1 night, and then on this board, they're there for 1 night. So I'm not sure what's going on with the Jackson Nationals, the Jackson Motorplex, but it does not appear to be on the schedule right now. August 19th, Mississippi. I forgot the I at the end. So sorry, that is a hard word to spell. And did I mention that they're in Wisconsin a lot? Mississippi Thunder Speedway back in Wisconsin. The IRA had a phenomenal race there this year. That's the one that Scott Boguski won. And so looking forward to seeing how the Outlaws will run there on August 19th. August 22nd and 23rd, back to North Dakota. The 2 tracks, River City Speedway and Red River Valley Speedway once again. August 30th and 31st, 2 nights back in South Dakota at Huset's Speedway. And then a new track to the series for 2025. It is the Vados Speedway Park in New Mexico, September 6th and 7th. And that is when they make their very brief trip to the West Coast. September 12th, Bakersfield Speedway in California. So I've already messed up. So Vado, Bakersfield, Paris, and Tulare right here are all tracks that both series will be going to next year. As I mentioned, September 13th, Paris Auto Speedway in Southern California. And then September 19th and 20th, 2 nights at Thunderbolt Raceway. You could probably imagine that is the Dennis Roth Classic. September 26th, that is a to-be-determined race. And then September 27th at Sharon Speedway in Ohio. More than likely, this will be a racetrack in Ohio on September 26th. And then October 3rd and 4th, it is the 46th and 47th visit to Williams Grove Speedway. That is for the National Open. And then a new track to the schedule from last year, October 10th, New Egypt Speedway in New Jersey. So New Jersey, you are getting your fair share of 410 racing next year. You got a race at Bridgeport with High Limit and now one at New Egypt with the Outlaws. October 11th at Lincoln Speedway in Pennsylvania. And then October 17th, it is to be determined, which leads into a racetrack that I am very familiar with from R Factor, LaSalle Speedway in Illinois. I am very, very excited to see how that goes. So you could probably imagine there will be another Illinois, maybe an Indiana track right there the night before. But LaSalle, that is going to be cannot miss television right there. October 25th and 24th, that is two races to be determined. Over the last couple of years, in my experience with the Outlaws, me working for them and all that, those two nights are usually reserved if a race, a big race, has a rain out. So let's say the National Open rains out, then they are able to reschedule it for October 24th and 25th. More than likely will not race there, but it's still on the schedule. And then, of course, they finish out the year at the World Finals at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway, November 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And that is 90 nights of racing action next year for the World of Outlaws. I cannot believe that I used to be on the Outlaw Tour. I forgot just how many races they run until you don't realize it until you write every damn race on a whiteboard, and it takes you 3 hours to do it. So, yeah, a lot of races for them. And I think I am going to make this into a 4-board video and kind of just dive into the numbers a little bit more like we did with the High Limit Racing schedule. So I'll be right back. Wow, this is a long video, a lot of work going into this one, but here is the final portion of this video, breaking down the schedule by track size and giving you an idea of how many races will be run on each size of the racetrack. So 3/8 mile, there are 14 tracks of that length. 21 races will be ran on those 14 tracks, equating to 24% of the schedule. Half-mile racetracks, there's only 5, but they run 25 races on those half miles. 29% of the schedule on the big racetracks. Quarter miles, there are 8 tracks, 10 races on those tracks, and 11% of the 11% of the schedule will be on quarter miles. 4/10 miles, there's only 3 racetracks, but 7 races and 8% of the schedule. And then for 1/3 miles, 11 tracks, 23 races on those, and 26%. You might be wondering why there's so many of 1/3. According to the World of Outlaws website, they have Houston Speedway as a 1/3 mile, and so that is 6 races right there. So, yeah, pretty diverse, obviously. It's hard to believe it. Just 5 tracks with the half miles. They run 25 races. Williams Grove, Volusia, Eldora, and Knoxville. I mean, those take up a huge portion of the Outlaw schedule each and every year. So 86 races right now with 4 to be determined. 41 different tracks, 12 new tracks from last season to next season, 21 states and Canada, and 276 days from February 5th when the season begins at Volusia to November 8th when the season ends at the Charlotte Motor Speedway dirt track. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. It was a lot of work and a lot of writing and a lot of research and stuff to figure all this stuff out. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and comment down below. Are you excited for the World of Outlaws schedule? I mean, with 12 new racetracks, I feel like that's a lot more than we're used to seeing for them. So they definitely tried a lot of new things. They're going to a lot of different places, obviously. So let me know your thoughts down below on the schedule. Which races will you be at? And we'll talk to you guys again here soon.